students. I am RG ma'am is with you to start with the lecture number 2 of crop production and management chapter. Till now we have read about many things like what are crops, what is agriculture, what are the plant parts that are edible like seeds, like fruits, like roots, like stems, like leaves. Okay, now in this lecture we are going to solve a great mystery over here. What is the mystery behind that? The mystery is how the crops are being managed, how they are grown, and how the soil is prepared. Okay, now we need the basic agricultural implements to make the soil fertile, to make or enrich the soil. Okay, so we are going to read about the crop seasons over here, the crop practicing systems over here, and the methods which are used to cultivate a particular land. So let's move on to our content firstly. First, we have to learn about the lecture, that what is crop production and management. So moving on towards the next slide, the name of the chapter as suggests the crop production, that is the cultivation of the land, that is agriculture. I have told you in the lecture number 1, and management of it. Now what does a management mean? You know very well this thing, students. Management means how the leveling, the drilling, the tilling and all the procedures are being taking place. Now I am taking the terms of these and I am going to explain all these terms in this lecture only. So let us move on towards the content part of this lecture, that is first the basic crop practicing. What is the basic crop practicing? How the crop is to be grown and which type of land supports which type of crop. You should know this thing. And next is the crop seasons. What are the crop seasons? That are the Rabi season or the Kharif season or the Zaid season. What are these seasons and when a particular crop is to be grown? You should know this thing. A farmer should know this thing. Okay, winter crops are grown in only and only in winter season, and if they are grown in summer season, they are not going to propagate or grow. Next, we are going to read about the crop production management, how the crop production is to being managed in this systems. Now, if we talk about the crop production management, we have to prepare the soil first. How the soil is going to be prepared? There are various procedures and various articles, or we can say various activities are used to prepare a particular soil. And the next part which we are going to read in this lecture is sowing of seeds. We have to sow the seed in the particular field at a particular time. It requires very much amount of time if we do it manually. But if we are using the tractors or any other equipments, then it can be made easy. So how it can be made easy, we can see in this lecture only. So I am going to start with the first content, that is the basic crop practicing. So first we have to understand that what is the basic crop practicing. So here it is written that if a particular plant is grown on a large area or a large land, it is to be cultivated, then it is considered as crop. If I am growing wheat on a large land, then I am counting it as a crop. Now, India is a vast country, as you know this thing. Okay, and India accounts for 70% part of the agricultural land. Okay, India has many types of soils, and India is the only country which can grow each and every type of fruits, flowers, vegetables, anything else. Okay, now if we see that for crop practicing, the basic requirements that are temperature, humidity, rainfall vary from region to one another. You can see that in south area the rainfall is much more, but if we come to the north area, that is if we come to the Rajasthan or the below areas, then we can see that the rainfall is very less. So a particular crop requires particular temperature, particular pH, soil and rainfall mainly, because a plant needs to grow in the presence of sunlight and water. So what is the basic metabolic thing which is going to be used by the plant for the photolysis process? That I am going to tell you about in the upcoming lectures. Okay. So let us move on towards the next slide and see that what are the crop seasons. Okay, so first if you know this thing, If a plant wants to get mature, it requires a particular crop season. If the crop season is not suitable for it, it is not being going to be grown, or it will not going to be propagate in that soil. Even if the soil is fertile, then also it requires particular weather conditions to grow. If I am going to talk about the next thing, that is the sunlight. Sunlight is the basic requirement of a particular plant to grow, students. Now, why it is the basic requirement? Because in the presence of sunlight, plant prepare their own food. Now, how the food is going to be prepared, that you are going to study in the light reaction in class 9. But now onwards, you have to study this thing, that for manufacturing any kind of food, plant requires sunlight. That is the basic thing. Okay. Next, I am going to tell you about Next, I am going to tell you about the photoperiods. Okay, what are the photoperiods in the duration of the sunlight that influences the plant in growth, in flowering, in formation of the storage organs, leaf fall, etc. Okay, now if we consider about India, if we talk about India, then there are three main seasons in which the plants can be grown, in which the cultivation can take place. So first is the Rabi season, second one is the Kharif, and third one is the Zaid. Okay. Now, if we talk about India, there are the main three major types of crops which can be grown during winter, during summer, and during monsoon season. So first one will be the Rabi crops, then second one will be the Kharif crop, and the third one will be the Zaid crops, which are grown on the land fields. Okay, so these are written over here, and you should mark it important because these are asked in many competitive examinations. The Rabi crop, Kharif crop, and the last one is the Zaid crop. Okay, now what is the great differentiation between these three types of crops? Why we need to grow the crop according to a particular season? So let us study about these types of crops in a particular tabular format. So moving on towards the next slide, I am going to make you study how the Kharif season requires a particular temperature, particular soil, and which type of plants can be cultivated on this particular season. Okay, so first we are going to read about the Kharif season, the Kharif crop. Okay, now it is grown in the rainy season. Okay, so are grown during monsoon and rainy season. That is the first point you should remember, students. Okay, they require warm and wet weather. Okay, warm and wet weather means they require a moist climate to grow. They are sown in June or July and harvested in September and October. Okay, remember this thing, they are grown in June and July and harvested in September and October. Okay, now the examples of the Kharif crops are rice, jowar, bajra, cotton, groundnut, urad, moong, etc. Okay, rice, jowar, bajra, cotton, groundnut, urad, and moong. Okay, see, so these are the examples of Kharif crop. Now I will tell you a trick to learn the Kharif is related to monsoon season. Okay, how it is related, because sometimes students get confused that which crop is grown in which season. Okay, so let's move on towards the next season, that is the Rabi crop, which is grown in winter season. So Rabi crops are grown in winter season. They are grown during winter season, the first point. Second point, they require a cold and a dry weather. Okay, they require a chilling weather and a dry weather. Okay, you have seen in winter vacations which falls. Okay, you have seen in winters that dry climate occurs. Even our skin gets dry in winter season. Okay, because the moisture has been absorbed by the climatic conditions. They are sown in October and November and harvested in March and April. So they are sown in October and November, means the when the winter arrives, and when the summer is going to be arrived, when the summer is going to be arrived, when the summer is going to be arrived, before that they are harvested. So they are harvested during March and April. And the last point, the examples, the basic thing which you should learn are the wheat, barley, gram, mustard, and potato. Wheat, barley, gram, mustard, and potato are the crops which are grown during the Rabi season, Rabi crops. Okay, we can see it as Rabi season also because the winter season, which is counted as Rabi crop. Okay. Now, next I am moving towards the Zaid crops. Okay. So, Zaid crops are those crops which are grown during the summer season. The season is summer and the crop is Zaid. Now, they require a warm, dry weather, totally warm, or you can say a hot environment to grow. They are sown in March and harvested in June. Grown in March and harvested in June. They are the seasonal fruits and vegetables. Okay, seasonal fruits and vegetables, if you see in summers, the citrus fruits are usually eaten and the mango is usually eaten. Okay, so mango or watermelon or muskmelon, these type of fruits are sown and they are grown during this season. Okay, so they are considered under the Zaid crops. Okay, now moving on towards the next slide. Now I am going to tell you the trick to remember this thing. So the trick is, you can learn it like that. K, W. Okay. Now I am going to tell you a trick for learning these crops related to their seasons. Okay. So I am writing it over here in a short abbreviated form. You can understand this thing. K, R, and you can learn it as Kumar. This is a short trick for learning the crop related to season. K means Kharif and R means the rainy season. Now the next one, that is Rabi crop, which is grown in winter season. So you can learn it like that, rough work. Okay. So rough work means R for Rabi and W for winter. So this is a small trick to learn it like that. And the last one, that is Zaid crop. So you can learn it by its name only, Zaid and summer. So S. So you can spell it like it, Zaid Singh. So Z for Zaid and S for summer. So Z for Zaid. So Z for Zaid and S for Zaid and S for summer. So these are the small tricks which you can learn during this chapter to remember each and everything, because some things are little bit confusing and during exam time students may forget these things. So this is the small trick to learn the crops and the seasons. Now I am moving towards the next slide, and the next slide will be great interesting thing, that how the crop production management takes place. So you know that India is a great agricultural country and 70% part of the India is covered in agricultural processes only, because each and every type of soil is available in India's land. Now you can see here, it is written also that it engages about 70% of its population in agricultural procedures and 40% of the gross national product, that is GNP. Okay. Now next point is, farming practices being followed depend upon the size of the land. Okay. Education and financial conditions of the farmer. Now they depend upon three things. First is the size of the land. The land size must be even, so that a farmer can cultivate the land properly and can grow their crops. Second thing, they should be educated. Why they should be educated? Because they will be knowing about the newer techniques which are going to be launched for the farming procedures. And the third one is the conditions of the farmers, means the financial conditions of the farmers, means they should be somewhat financially sound so that they can purchase the agricultural implements and they can cultivate their fields properly. Okay. Now moving on towards the next slide. Now the last point about this thing, that crop production management refers to controlling the various aspects of crop production to obtain a maximum and best yield. Now this thing is a great thing. Okay, a farmer should know that if he or she is cultivating a particular crop field, then how much yield is going to be managed from it. Okay, if the particular field is not giving any sort of income, then it is of no use. Okay, So a farmer should know this thing. Now moving on towards the next slide, I am going to discuss about the basic practices of crop production. What are the basic practices of crop production? So students, cultivation of crops involves many activities which are regarded by the farmers, which are related to the farmers over a period of time. Okay, now what are the activities the farmers should perform? Okay, if a farmer puts a seed inside the soil, then it is going to be grown or not. Now, what are the activities should a farmer do to make the land particularly cultivated and to score a good income out of it? Now, what are the activities we should look first? So, first is the preparation of the soil. A farmer should prepare its soil. Now, what are the preparation of soil? Means we have to do the makeup of the soil. Yes, we have to do the makeup of the soil by some procedures like tilling or plowing or sowing, then the seeds, and last procedure is the agricultural implements we use to do all these things. Okay, next point is sowing, which I told you about in this point only. Okay, now adding manure and fertilizers. Manure and fertilizers are the substances which enhances the growth of a particular crop. So they are necessary for a particular crop field. Okay, now, fourth point is irrigation. The most important point is irrigation, because a particular crop requires some amount of water to grow. And even there are some crops like paddy, that is rice, which requires lot of amount of water to grow. So it can be grown in those areas which have a great irrigation facilities only. Okay. Irrigation means the supply of water. Okay. Now harvesting. Harvesting means particular time of harvest. If you have grown the crop, like if you have grown the kharif crop, you have grown that crop in which season, students, do you remember? You have grown the kharif crop in winter season. Now before summer you have to harvest it. So it is a particular time of harvesting between April or March. Okay, so you should know, a farmer should know the particular season to harvest a particular crop. And the last part is the storage. Okay, this is the main important part, because if we have done so much of hard work to grow the crop, then we require a particular storage system also. If the pest attack on them and they will damage the crop, then the farmer is going to be get destroyed. Okay, the all the crops are going to be get destroyed. So we should use proper fungicides, fumicides and pesticides to control the weed control. And also we should store it in proper store houses, or we can say that we can store it in proper warehouses or godowns. Okay, now moving on towards the next slide, we are going to see first the preparation of soil, how the soil is prepared. So we have to do it stepwise. Okay, so what is the first step, the second and the third step, we are going to see it over here. So the most important task of the agriculture is first the preparation of soil. So how we have to prepare the soil? The first step towards the preparation of soil is the plowing or tilling. Okay, so what happens, students, when we plow or till? That allows the soil to loosen itself. And what happens? The nutrient which is present below in the soil gets upward movement, and because of that upward movement, it comes on the top layer of the soil and forms humus. And that humus is rich in nutrients on which the next seed is going to be sown and it's going to be cultivated. Okay, so this process is mandatory. Okay, so this allows the roots to penetrate and deep into the soil, and loose soil allows the roots to breathe easily even when they go deep into the soil. Okay, even the roots which go deep inside the soil can breathe easily because the soil has been loosened due to tilling process or plowing process. Okay, so we are going to see this procedure over here which I told you. First is plowing or tilling. In plowing or tilling, what we are going to do, we are using the various agricultural implements, and Because of them, the soil is going to be plowed easily, and because of plowing, what is going to be happen, the below nutrients are pushed upward, and upward layer form a humus layer on which the soil, on which the plant is going to be cultivated. Next procedure is leveling. Okay, what is leveling? We have to make a level, a particular level of a soil, means it has to be organized in a synchronized manner. And the last part, that is agricultural implements. What are the agricultural implements we are going to use for these procedures? So let us take a look on plugging or tilling. So first is plugging or tilling. Okay, what is it? It is the loosening of the soil and turning the soil. It is known as plugging or tilling. Now, the next point about this is done by a plow. Okay, plow is an agricultural implement which is used to do the plowing process. Okay, plows are made of wood or iron. Okay, remember this thing, students, they are made of wood or iron and they have sharp edges. I will show it through a diagram over here, that how they are made. Okay, now you know this thing, then when the field is plow, the some crumbs are created, soil crumbs are created. It is written over here also, subsoil crumbs are created, and these crumbs are then removed in the leveling process. Means there are the stack of soil. Okay, these type of stack of soils are formed when the field is plow. Okay, now these are going to be removed during the leveling process, which we are going to study in the next procedure. Okay, now let us see how the plugging occurs. So, through this video, I am going to tell you about how the plowing takes place. Okay, so first is the preparation of the soil which we have to do. Now what the farmer is doing, the farmer is using this tractor and the plows are stacked over here. Now these stacks are moving inside the field. Okay, so what they are doing, they are enriching the soil. Okay, they are digging the soil, and when this soil is dug, there is a loosening of the soil, and the nutrients which are present below the soil, they comes upwards, and the main thing, that is the earthworms and the microbes which helps in loosening of the soil and enrichment of the soil, also comes on the upward layer. Okay, now this layer becomes what? Humus. And humus, you know that it is rich in every kind of nutrient. So when we put a seed inside it, they grow up in a proper manner. Okay, you can see here the roots are also developed, the nodules are developed, and then the leaves are developed. Okay, so this type of arrangement takes place when we plow the field and when we sow the seed inside it. Now the plowing includes the turning of the soil. You can say it is the turning of the soil or loosening of the soil. Now what are the implements which are used for it? First one, you can see it has a sharp edge of iron over here. Okay, and a handle which is put over here. So it is known as what, students? Plow. It is known as what? Plow. The second, you can see it is a hoe. It is a hoe or hoe, you can spell it like that. Okay, now this plow are used for tilling or scraping the soil. Okay, you can spell it like that. And it is made up of wood and an iron article which has a sharp edge. Okay, you can see it here, it is seen clearly in this diagram, and this sharp is known as plowshare. This sharp edge is known as plowshare. This is plow shaft which is used to draw the field. Okay, now you can see here these plow are used by the farmers, and these animals draw the plow in the field. You can see here this beam is attached over here, and these plows are attached below. Okay, now this hoe, what it is used? Hoe is used for removing the weeds. Okay, the extra weeds which are created inside the field, which are not for the useful purpose, then this hoe is used for this purpose. Okay, you can see the diagram here, it has a bent plate, and this bent plate is often sharp. Okay, now there is a tractor. The last use of tractor is the This kind of arrangement you can find it over here. It has sharp edges and they are bent. Okay, they are bent. Now when a single tractor can plow a large area in a short time. Okay, a tractor means it reduces the mechanical power. Okay, it reduces the mechanical power of a particular farmer, because if a particular farmer is using mechanical power by plow or by hoe, then there is going to be a lot of time taken by that farmer. But this tractor, when it is moving, it is reducing the time also. Okay, so it is very beneficial to use the tractor instead of using the mechanical implements. Okay, did you understand the procedure of plowing? Okay, now we are moving on towards the next slide, that is the significance of plowing. Now what is the significance? First significance is they loosens the soil. Loosens the soil means the main thing, that is the nutrient which is present below in the soil gets a upward movement. Okay, and the earthworms also, the microbes also. The soil is overturned and properly aerated. Aerated means the air spaces or the air holes are created because of plowing process. Next process is, this allows the roots to penetrate deep easily. Okay, why this allows the roots to penetrate deeper? Because if the holes are created and the soil is loosened, then what will happen? The root will grow inside deeper and it will get a proper breathing. Okay, and if it is proper doing its functioning, it is proper breathing, then the land is going to be cultivated very healthy. Okay, now we are going to see about the leveling procedure. What is leveling procedure? Leveling procedure means when the agricultural procedure is in level for sowing the seeds. Okay, now what is sowing the seeds mean? Is the farmer using a single seed and then it is sowing into the soil? Then how much time it will take? It will take months to do this thing. In earlier times, the farmer used to do this thing, that they sow the seeds with their hands, mean there were lot of mechanical work. But nowadays the implements have been developed and more machines have been developed to sow the soil. Okay, so this is done by a leveler which is made of wood or iron. Okay, so this is done by a leveler which is made of wood or iron. I am going to show you this through a particular video over here. Okay, it is flat and 1.8 to 2 meter long, wooden plank with a long to put weight on it. Okay, now did you understand this thing? A leveler is put over there and it has to be become on a level. Means you have to see that the crumbs which have been formed during tilling process are to be removed during the leveling process. Now how they are removed, we are going to see through this video. Okay, so this video shows. Now we are going to see how the leveling takes place, means how the soil surface is made even. Okay, there are no crumbs left behind. So in this video you can see here students, there is a laser transmitter and there is a laser receiver. So laser transmitter passes the rays to the laser receiver and this is a leveling bucket over here. Okay, now what will happen? This control panel will receive all the rays over here. Now when the tractor will move on the crumbs, when this tractor will move on the crumbs, this extra material is going to be collected inside the bucket itself. You can see here, this receiver is getting the rays and the extra material is going to be collected inside the bucket, means these crumbs are going to be removed and this soil will get in a particular level, means this soil surface is going to be get smooth. You can see here this tractor is going to work over here and you can see this thing, these crumbs are getting removed and this soil is going to be leveled on a particular position, means they have to be a smooth soil surface over here. Now did you understand what is leveling? Now let us move on towards our next procedure, that is the agricultural implements. Now what are agricultural implements? These are just the tools which are used for drilling, this leveling and many more procedures used for cultivation processes of the crops. Okay, so what are the agricultural implements? So they can be used manually also, they can be used with the help of electricity also. Okay, so in earlier times we used to do this thing manually, but now the machines are available, like tractor machines are available, so we can do it very easily in a easy way. Okay, and in earlier times bullocks and camels were usually used. Nowadays also bullock carts are used, and bullocks are used to draw the fields, but in a very small villages they are used where the facility is not provided of tractor. Okay, if the farmer is financially sound somewhat, then he or she should purchase it. Okay, nowadays you should see that the tractors and combines harvesters are helping the farmers in their work, and this helps a farmer lot to reduce the time slot and to cultivate the land more easily in a proper way. Okay, so it reduces the mechanical work. Now there are different agricultural implements which are used for different procedures to happen inside the soil. So first one you can see here, there is the name of implement and there are used. So first one is the khurpa, which is used for weeding. Okay, second one is spade, which is used for digging and bunds formation. What is bunds formation, students? Making a pile of particular thing. If you want to make the pile of soil, then we use this implement, that is spade. Now wooden plow, I told you about, this is yours for tillage. Tillage means you know this thing very well, the loosening of the soil. Soil plank is used for breaking the crumbs. I told you about it in leveling procedure. Seed drill, which is used for sowing. So this is the basic implement which is used for sowing procedure. The seed drill. Harrow, which is used for weeding purposes. Sickle, which is used for harvesting. Combines, which is used for harvesting and threshing. And the last one, sprayers, which is used for spraying insecticide. And sprayers are very necessary because if you want to keep your all crops safe, then we have to spray some kind of insecticides on them. Otherwise the insects will destroy all the crop. Now you can see some images of the implements which we use. First one is the khurpa. Okay, second one is spade. You can see here it has sharp edges around it. Okay, very sharp edges it has, and it is also very sharp. Okay, neither of the equipment have blunt ends. Wooden plow. This is a wooden plow I told you about. The beam is used to, the buffaloes are used for this purpose. This is used for tilling process, that is the loosening of the soil. This is the basic equipment till nowadays also it is used, but now they have been converted into tractor supporters and combines. Okay, in earlier times the farmers used to do it manually with their hands, and that was a time consuming process and it was very hard also. And the last is soil plank. Soil plank is used to dug the soil very easily, and they are used by the farmers to dug the soil and bring the basic nutrients which are below in the soil to on the up layer. Now maintenance and care of agricultural implements. So it is very necessary. If you are living in a house, so you take the care of your implements, your daily life routine things like your mobile phones, your clothes, your specs, or each and everything. So farmers also have to look around the implements which they are using. Okay, if they are using the iron articles, they have to put them in the dry place so that they do not get rust, and even they have to take care of the wooden articles also, so to protect them from the insects. Okay, so first thing which they should do, what they should do, the tip of plug should be sharpened at regular intervals. So farmers should sharpen the tip of plow, because if the plow is not sharpened, if the edges are not in sharpened state, then what will happen, students? The dugging of the field will not be in a proper way. Okay, now the next point about this thing, the tool should not be kept in open. Okay, if they are made up of iron, then they should not be kept in open place, because if they are kept in open place, then what will happen? Rusting will occur and they will be get damaged. Next point about this, tools of iron can be rubbed with a piece of brick to keep them away from the rust. Okay, if they are rusted at particular time, then they can be rubbed with a piece of brick so that the rust can be removed from the iron part. Okay, occasional servicing of tractors, this is very important, students, because the engines, the petrol or the diesel which they are using may cause damage to their tractors, also the oil which has to be used in the tractors, so proper servicing is essential for it. Okay, last point, sprayers should be washed with water thoroughly before and after spraying. Now, why it is necessary that they should be washed before and after spraying? Because if the content has to be damaged, if the content which is present inside the sprayer is damaged, then if we spray in the fields, then what will happen? The field is not going to be grow, and the field may get destroyed also because of this content. Okay, so let's move on towards the next step, that is sowing. What is sowing, students? Sowing is the most important part of crop production. Before sowing, good quality seeds are selected. Now, how we can differentiate between a good quality seed and a bad quality seed? Okay, now how we can differentiate between a good quality seed and a bad quality seed? So now we can see here, it is written over here, good quality seeds should be clean, healthy and of good variety. So how we can differentiate between both of the two? So I am giving here an experiment to do this thing. You can do it at your home also if you have seeds of a particular thing. So if we are taking good quality seeds over here, and if we are taking bad quality seeds over here, so what will happen in bad quality seeds? There is a hollow space around it. Okay, hollow spaces are created in it. Okay, so hollow spaces will not allow the seed to sink. Okay, so it will float on the water, float on the surface of water. And if they are of good quality seeds, then they are not hollow, so they will sink in the water. So there is a great difference between both of the two, and farmers check these, and farmers check the healthy seeds by this kind of experiment only. Okay, now moving on towards our next slide, we can see how we can select the seed. So they are heavier. I told you in the above experiment, they are heavier and the damaged seeds are hollow, so they will not sink. Next, it is written over here, the damaged seeds become hollow and thus lighter and they float on the water. Okay, seeds of should be high yielding varieties free from insects and pests. This is the most important thing you should remember, that if you are taking the high quality seeds, high variety seeds, then they should be free from any kind of pest and insects. Okay, now how the seeds are being sown inside the soil. So what are the procedures we should follow? First, it is done by a broadcaster or a seed drill. I told you in the chart also, a seed drill is an agricultural implement which is used for sowing the seeds. Okay, so a broadcaster or a seed drill is used for sowing the seed. Broadcasting is random sowing of seeds manually. Broadcasting means if we are throwing the seeds like this in the soil. Okay, this is known as broadcasting. But if we are using a seed drill, then in a proper managed way, the seed drill is going to sow the seed at a particular distances. Okay, it is also written over here that if we are using the seed drill method, then what is going to be happen? The seeds are going to be sown uniformly at a particular distance in the field. So this is the main important criteria which we should use when we are sowing a seed. Okay, so moving on towards our next slide, we should see that if we are sowing the seed, we should ensure that the seeds get covered by the soil after sowing. This is the main important criteria. They should not remain on the upper layer. Okay, they should be sown properly, should be dug inside the soil very properly. Okay, and the last point, this prevents damage caused by birds. Sowing by using a seed drill saves time and labor. If you are sowing the seeds with the help of a seed drill, then it is maintaining your time slot also and saving your labor time also. Okay, now you can see here in this image, this is a method of broadcasting. This is a method of broadcasting in which we are using our fingers and we are throwing the seeds like this. If we are using a seed drill, then there is a particular distance which is maintained between the crop fields. Okay, so they can seen be uniformly. Now, the next topic is transplantation. What is transplantation, students? To maintain the nutrient enrichment in a particular plant, we require a transplantation procedure. Now, what is this procedure? We can see here. This is a process in which the seeds are sown in nurseries and seedlings. Okay, so this is the procedure in which the seeds are sown in nurseries and seedlings. So nurseries and seedlings are the small areas in which we grow a particular type of crop, and then we bring that crop with that soil and bring it to the another crop field. Did you understand this thing? Nurseries and the seedlings are the particular small areas in which the small plants are grown, which are nutrient enriched, and these plants are taken out from there and brought to the another crop field. Now, why they are brought to another crop field? To enrich the part of the soil. That is the basic requirements which are to be compensated through these small saplings which we have prepared in the nurseries. Okay, now we have taken here an example. In paddy field, we requires the nutrient enrichment, and nutrient enrichment occurs through these small saplings which we have prepared in the nurseries. Okay, the uncultivated field are known as what? Fallow land. You should remember this term over here, students. Fallow lands are the lands which are barren, or we can say they are the uncultivated lands. Okay, now we can see here the diagram of transplantation, how the transplantation occurs in the paddy fields. The small saplings which when grown in nurseries are brought here and again planted over here to enrich the soil. Okay, so let us revise our lecture number 1 and lecture number 2 in this content. Okay, so do not forget what we have done and what the procedures we are following to make a particular land cultivated. Okay, so first I am going to make you revise what is agriculture over here. So what is agriculture, students? Agriculture is made by the two Latin terms, which means the cultivation of the land. So what is agriculture? It is the cultivation of the land or the field. You should remember the definition of this thing: cultivation of land or field. Okay, now in this part, what we have learned, what are the crop seasons, what are the basic crop seasons which we require to grow a particular crop. So I have told you about the tricks, and you should use the tricks to learn about the crops. So first we are going to see the crop seasons. Okay, the crop seasons. So what were the crop seasons? The first were the crop seasons, and the first were the rabi crops. Okay, now I am going to tell you about the seasons in which they are grown. Okay, so first is rabi crop, second one is kharif crop, and the third one is the zaid crop. Now you should remember the seasons in which they are grown. Okay, and they are harvested also. In which months they are grown, in which months they are harvested, and what are the examples of these kind of crops. You should learn this thing thoroughly. Okay, so first is the rabi crop. The rabi crop is grown in winter season. Kharif crops are grown in rainy season, that is the monsoon season. And last one is the zaid crop, which are grown in summer season. Okay. Did you understand this thing that each and every crop requires a particular climatic condition to grow? And if the climatic conditions are not fulfilled, then the crop is not going to be cultivated or grown easily on the soil. Even the soil is fertile. So you should remember this thing. Now, moving on towards our next page, we are going to revise that what we have understood about the crop practicing systems. What are the crop practicing system? What is the crop management? So what are the activities which we have learned about? So first activity which we have learned about is the tilling procedure. The tilling procedure, or we can say it as a plowing procedure. So what is tilling and plowing procedure, students? You should learn this thing. The tilling means the loosening of the soil. What is loosening of the soil? It is the nutrient enrichment of the soil. And how does this happen? When we are tilling or using a plow in the field, what happens? The nutrient which is present below in the field gets a upward movement. Okay, and it comes on the topmost layer of the soil and forms what? Humus. So you can write here, first point that is about tilling is the loosening of the soil. Loosening of soil. And what happens when loosening of soil occurs, students? The nutrient enrichment of the soil occurs. Okay, nutrient enrichment of soil occurs. Also, the earthworms and the microbes which were present deep under the soil comes on the topmost layer of the soil. And what happens, students, in this phase? The humus formation takes place here. Now, the bad thing that happens in this procedure is the formation of crumbs. What are crumbs? If you are digging a field, then what will happen? The small pile up of the soil will occur. Okay, this kind of piling up of the soil will occur on small spaces. Okay, and this makes the soil uneven. The surface of the soil becomes uneven. So the next procedure will be followed will be labeling. So moving on towards the next procedure, that is the leveling. So what happens during leveling, students? The surface is made even. The soil surface is made even. And how does it will be made even? Through tractors. Okay, the tractors will move, and what will happen? The tractors will receive, a laser receiver is present over there. They will receive the signals and a bucket is present over there. Now what will happen? As they will move, the extra part of the soil will get removed. Okay, you can see it through this diagram also. If there are crumbs present over there, okay, now there is a bucket present here. Now what will happen? As the receiver will move forward, this extra amount of soil is going to be get collected inside the bucket, and this soil is going to be get what? A smooth surface. So this procedure of making the soil surface smooth is known as what? Leveling procedure. And the last procedure which we learned about was the agricultural implements. So this is the basic thing which we need to make the soil fertile and enrich it. So these are the basic thing which we need. So what are the agricultural implements? They are the tools. Okay, what are they? They are the tools which we use in plugging process, in leveling process, in many processes. Okay, that are going to be arrived in the next lectures. So what are the tools which we are using? They can be spade, they can be seed drill. I am just writing little bit examples over here of the tools. Okay, in the lecture number 2 you can see that. Okay, in this slide only. Spade, seed drill, or you can use a harvester for harvesting. Okay, next is hoe, plow, and many more. So you can use many agricultural implements to make the soil enrich, and these are the basic implements which we use during any cultivation of crop. Okay, now I just want to make you revise this thing, that first we have learned about the preparation of the soil, and second we have learned about sowing of the seed. Now, in the upcoming lectures, we are going to learn about the harvesting procedures, the cropping patterns, and many more things. Okay, so I am ending with my lecture. Okay, we have understand about the crop practicing systems and about the soil enrichment, the tilling procedure, the sowing procedure. In the next lecture, I am going to tell you about many activities which are going to be taken up for growing to a particular crop. Thank you.